That's what I do in my spare time.
Oh, goodness. They'd be like, what the hell, Austin? Bring that crazy ass dude from.
What's up, everybody? Hello and welcome to the P Funkin' Pro Show, episode 15. It's been 15 episodes. As you can see, Anthony looks slightly different this time. So, Anthony's off gallivanting in California, the West Coast. He started off in Seattle, blah, blah, blah. He's moving down from like some stolen bike or something that he got off somebody from Reddit or something. I'll tell you more about that later.
Stolen bike?
It's not actually... It's not actually stolen, but it might as well be. So, anyway, what we've done is we've got a replacement kind of guest host. This is Dave Thomas from the same. We work in the same place, so kind of recruited him. I figured he would be an interesting, insightful replacement.
Wow!
Add some dynamics to the whole thing. So we'll see how this works out. We're going to be calling Anthony later to see kind of how his adventures are going too, so stay tuned for that. That's going to get interesting, I'm sure. But first, Dave, how you doing?
Well, how are you, Austin?
I'm pretty good.
Okay.
Pretty good. How do you feel about being on a podcast?
I don't know yet.
Okay. Yeah, honestly, like, we're still kind of in the feel-out stage of how we want this to go, so, like, your level of confusion is probably, like, equal or, slightly higher than mine.
Of course, I hate pictures and anything have to do with pictures and / movies, so therefore, that's
what I'm saying. Like, that's why it surprised me, because you seem like very okay with doing this, which excited me because, like, yeah,
it's all good.
But, okay, sweet. So we've talked extensively at work and outside of work about other things, but obviously, folks at home might not know much about Dave Thomas, besides the fact that you share a name with one founder of Wendy's.
He's boring. He's a boring person.
He is a boring person?
Sure.
Really? I mean, he probably is, I imagine. If anything, not exciting as you. So, tell me a little bit about yourself, Dave.
See, I was talking about me being boring, not him. What kind of things are you talking about?
So give me a little bit of background about kind of like where you came from. So, I met you through P&G, obviously. We work in the same place.
Yes.
But you haven't been with P&G forever.
Aha.
You've kind of come from different places along the way. So,
gotcha.
Where did you start? Where did you grow up? What were kind of some of your first jobs, and how did you get to where you are today?
Oh, wow. Okay. So, let's see. I'm actually from Delaware, born and raised. Actually moved away from Delaware to come here to Cincinnati for work. Before P&G, I actually pretty much was in retail. Retail was pretty much most of my life. Actually, I did have 2 fast food places in the process of that. Roy Rogers, and some people may not even know that name. Roy Rogers.
Isn't that like a real East Coast thing, Roy Rogers?
I thought it was a little bit everywhere, but I'm not sure. But it was Roy Rogers and it was Hardee's. So like I said, that was my KFC. See, because it was Roy Rogers, went to Hardee's and back and forth, but then it was like in KFC. So I had a couple fast food places, but majority was retail. Gotcha. It's like convenience store types, like your 7-Elevens, or for here your UDFs type things like those.
Okay, 7-Elevens are kind of like gas stations without the gas, right?
Well, no, they have the gas. They have the gas.
Oh, okay.
They're used just like they're home at Slurpee. Come on, man.
Okay, I'm sorry. I haven't been to many 7-Elevens. There was one in like Chicago when I went recently, and they didn't have gas, so I kind of just assumed that's how 7-Elevens were everywhere.
Yeah, because most of them actually have gas, and like I said, they didn't have. I mean, you had a little bit of everything. You had some delis and everything else as well. Gas, regular convenience store type deal.
Okay.
I guess it was more so. I mean, I know they were all over the place, but I think the East Coast had quite a bit. I'm sure there were on the West as well. Because when I was there, because that was one of my jobs I did in the beginning is there, and then. I was in many different various retail places and did jobs as regular person in the beginning, and then afterwards pretty much became in management. Been in I actually was an assistant for like 14 different managers before I actually got my own store. So
dang.
But yeah, so different various types of retail places, like I said, and they all were to here would equate to something like a UDF.
Okay, gotcha.
Because I think they have delis here too, and it has gas and it has lottery, so it had those different type of things is what it had.
Okay. So how old were you when you got that kind of management bump?
The assistant or actually get my own first store that was mine. I can say, hey, this is my place.
Let's talk about the first store. Yeah. When did that happen?
I was 21 years old.
God. This is the crazy part.
21 years old.
Wow.
To be interesting to actually be I'm not going to put that out there because some people may see this and I don't.
Okay, yeah,
I'm just kind of like,
yeah, okay, yeah. You can keep your cards close to your chest. Yeah, that's fine.
It's not like anything big, but it's just kind of like, well, yeah, who cares? But to be 21 years old and make like $60,000 or $70,000 in a year is pretty much one of your very first jobs. It's kind of like,
yeah, that must have
really?
been pretty awesome.
And people look like, are you kidding? And I'm like, no, it really was.
That's
but
awesome.
you have to remember, in the process of that, it required a lot of hours. So that was like anywhere between 80 and 120 hours a week.
Jeez,
yes, I said a week.
Oh my God. Yeah, I've got some friends that work in like warehouses and stuff, and they always tell me like, yo, we worked like 60 hours this week. And I'm like, how many hours are in a week? How did you even fit all those in? So to hear like 80 to 100, that's like insane.
Yes.
Insane.
Pretty much live there.
Yeah,
Pretty much live there.
I guess so. And you did that for how many years before you were promoted, or you got the management, got your own store?
I did that from when I started working actually at 16. My first, even though 7-Eleven ones really didn't have really many positions because you had to be 18, I actually got hired there first at 16, which I couldn't do a whole lot of stuff because you couldn't really run. They didn't really want you to register. They really want you you can't slice meats and stuff at the deli.
Yeah,
you had to be 18, but you got to take out the trash and fill the cold box or what do you want to call the cooler.
Yeah.
And fill up stuff and take and clean stuff up. So. But I did. I got that at 16, and then, like I said, pretty much I worked in the fast food places, and then actually at 18, when I turned 18, I actually got my first assistant manager job.
Gotcha. Okay, so that's kind of how that progression worked. Okay, cool.
So between 18 and 21, I worked for, like I said, 14 different managers.
Oh my God.
But the interesting thing was, it was one of my philosophy of that was to learn something that I would do when I got my own from each one, and also something I would not do from each one.
I think that's the best way to go.
So that was interesting because even then you had to find one good and had to at least find one bad for every person. So
I agree because nobody is like completely perfect or completely horrible, right?
Yes.
Everybody's got their one thing that makes them, unique and good for a specific reason.
Very true.
Yeah, and I think that applies to like all of life.
Yes.
Not just like management or anything, but like everything. So yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Been a trainer pretty much all my life. Like I said, even as I worked in different places and those stores and in fast food places, I was always the person that trained people. So I was like, you taught them how to do many different things. And like I said, people asked, but then even as they saw in different things that I did as training wise, I pretty much inherited roles of training no matter where I've been, and I've always been a person to train people.
Is it because you like it?
I actually do enjoy it. Like I said, it's actually enjoying teaching people how to do things and enabling people.
Yeah.
Because one of my biggest things when I was actually running stores and was managers was with information and knowledge, you can't be denied. That was my saying, and that was my philosophy. And everyone sat there and said, I don't care who you were, whether you were the person like I started when I was in 7-Eleven, where I was 16 years old, and couldn't do a whole lot, to no matter how old you were, an older person or younger person in the middle, you can do anything you want to do. And I helped you do anything you want to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely get what you mean.
And it was interesting because, like I said, there was some really good and interesting experiences along the way, and different people you meet along the way, and you still talk to and communicate with today, and can actually say you can actually call a person a friend, or someone actually still stays in touch when people have a tendency anymore that they don't do those things. Yes, so it's interesting, very interesting.
It sounds interesting. What would you say is the most interesting story that you have from those days? And you laugh because I know you have some.
The most interesting.
I know you have a million, so it's hard to boil it down to
that's
one.
Why
but
I'm like
if you
the most interesting.
One most interesting that you're comfortable with putting on the internet, because it might not be the most interesting one, but one that you're comfortable with sharing.
I guess it was still pretty much one of those things to where it was like I said, there was one of the it was a younger person who actually was. We were there, and they were pretty much going through school, and of course as people go through and you go through life, you're like, hey, what is my role? What am I going to do? And whether I'm going to do something or I'm not going to do something. And one particular guy was sitting there in the process, and he was just kind of like, well, we had several people that were under 18, and they weren't allowed to do a lot of different things, but of those, he wasn't one of the top ones. He was probably one of the ones that most people were like, I really don't want that dude on my shift in the process, and he knew it. So in the meantime, it was kind of like one of those things to come and ask, well, hey, why don't people want me around? It's kind of like, well, they don't feel as they do stuff very well. That's one of the things about me. You learn I'm blunt. I mean, people may not like it, but that's what I am. I tell it like it is. So.
Yeah, and that's definitely been helpful, I think, in my case as well. Because you've been very blunt with me a few times.
People don't like bluntness.
But it's the truth.
Yeah, and I believe that because I'm one of those people that believe the truth is the truth. Whether you like it or not, that's what I'm going to give you. And I mean, I'd rather for you think I'm an asshole. Tell me I'm an asshole. I'm cool with that. I have more respect for you than sitting there and saying, oh, trying to make it seem like you really care and you Just tell me. I'm cool with that.
Yep, and I completely agree with
I can live with that, and you can live with that, and I'll respect you more.
Yep.
In the process of that. But anyway, we were actually, he was actually there, and I pretty much told him, I can start teaching how to do stuff and get it done a little better and faster, and we can turn that around, and people are asking for you in the process. So he's like, really? So yeah, we did. So in the process, different things we did. And like I said, it was one of those things to go in and feel like to walk in with, like I said, the cold box, which is all your sodas and your drinks and your milk and all other crap, and even in like all ice cream and stuff on the other side. And pretty much, okay, and it was like, because people jump all around the place, and it's like, start from one side, work your way to the other. And it's kind of like top to bottom, and work your way across and get all the stuff you need at one time and make your trips.
Yeah.
So I went through and just kind of like through and did stuff and moved around, and even then you get all kinds of crap in and rearrange and show you how to get it in a neat and orderly fashion. And like I said, it sounds easy, but when you have all this crap going on and if you see what actually goes on day to day inside the back of stores and places,
yeah,
it's not as easy as it sounds.
No, I'm sure it's not.
It really isn't. It's a mess. And like I said, you got to organize, and you may have just enough room to squeeze through aisles, and literally you have to work your way around to get the stuff there, and then you can create the space and get it done. But anyway, and teach them how to do stuff, and we went through different things from the walk-in, like I said, filling that, even the trash, and doing different parts of the stores and everything. And we worked, and I showed him how to do stuff. And as we were going through, he got faster and faster, and even then got things done accurate and squared away, and people didn't have to go back and check behind him on a regular basis, which they did before. And it was kind of like, okay, this wasn't right. And then afterwards, it's like, wow, he got that pretty quick. Look at that. Did you see it? And it was just kind of like, awesome. And then from one thing to another, and then even in like money, we ran registers and different stuff, and they could run register. And he was like, well, I want to count money. And everybody's like, well, you can't do that. Sure you can. I'll sit there with you. I mean, it's my responsibility. I'll sit there and, well, you can do it, and I'll show you how to do it, no problem. Mm-hmm. And we did that too, and just kind of looking at me like I'm crazy, and I'm like, hey, I don't care. If you do it, I don't have to do it. I can sit here and watch you, and as long as I'm still responsible.
Right.
So to make a long story short, went through different stuff and taught him how to do different things, and then it became one of those things that everyone wanted him on their shift. And everybody else was just kind of like, really? And it was just kind of like, no, I want him. I want him. And
that's awesome.
So he was like, hey, cool. The interesting part was his mom and dad even noticed, because they were just kind of like, his attitude was totally different than it was before. And they even came by and was like, you made a big impact on his life. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And I was just like, I just showed him how to do stuff here. And it was kind of like, well, it's changing and equated to outside of here as well. And I'm like, huh? And they're just kind of like, okay, whatever. And they're kind of looking at me like, you look like it's no big deal, but I just want to tell you it really is. And I'm just kind of like, okay, shaking it off, like, no, whatever in the process. Mm-hmm. And it was like, because he wants to know stuff. If you notice, he comes up here and asks you whether he's working or not. And I was kind of like, sat there for a second. I was like, you know what? That is true. I have noticed he's coming here on days when when he really wasn't, working or whatever else in the process, asking questions and stuff. So I kind of like sat there like, all right, thought about it. And so I just asked him, like, why you come up here and ask me? And he was just kind of like, give me a process. And kind of like, why not? It's like, you told me I could ask and you can help me do whatever I need to do. And I was like, okay, fair enough. So anyway, it got done. And it was one of those things to where when all is said and done, he, like I said, he was one of those people everybody wanted. And then he was like, it changed his whole outlook on stuff. And then it was one of those things where he didn't even know what he wanted to do. It was like high school was ending, didn't know what he wanted to do as far as with his life and what he's going to do, whether go to school, not go to school. It was like, there wasn't even school in thoughts and this, that, and the other. But after we got done, it was kind of like, I'm going to college for computers. That's what I decided. I said I wanted to do it before, but I was like, I didn't know in the process. But after all the stuff that we done, I know what I want to do now, and you helped me change that. And I was just kind of like, I didn't do anything. It's like, sure you did. I didn't do anything. And then in the end, it was just kind of like, yeah, with the stuff that you did and all the stuff that we went through and the stuff that you taught me, I realized I can do pretty much what I want to do as long as I set my mind to get it done. Mm-hmm. And I was like, interesting. Yeah. I said, that was something we talked about in the very beginning. But and of course he didn't believe it in the beginning, but it did then. And it was just kind of like, and I just kind of looked at him and I said, I taught you how to do one thing. What was that one thing? And just looked at me like, I don't know what it was. I said, I taught you how to do one thing. And that was believe in your own self. And he just looks at me like, yeah, right, whatever. And then the light bulb goes off, the eyes get all big and bright. And it's kind of like, wow.
God, yeah.
Wow, really? And it's like, he saw it. And it was just kind of like, bam. Yeah. So, but I mean, it's kind of like, hey, you never know. That's why it's one of those things that helping people is not an issue. I mean, why some people have an issue with helping, working with, teaching, developing, just answering questions for somebody. I don't get it. But like I said, you never know what you're going to get from it in the end. And it was kind of like one of those big surprises for me because, of course, like I said, I'm only like 18, 19 years old myself. I'm not much older than the person is. I'm not like I was
right.
this old person or anything in the process.
Right.
But to actually be able to see something, work with someone, talk to someone, and help them get somewhere, and then watch the light bulb go off. It kind of like makes you take a step back too and look like, huh. Didn't even realize it in the meantime. I was just doing what I do anyway. Because, I mean, I don't mind helping people in the process. Never have and never will. And I have done that with many different people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Me included. So that brings me to kind of my next question. Like, it's kind of like a chicken or the egg thing. So did he come to you first? Or did you see something in him, like potential for him to grow and go to him first? Or how did this specific instance play?
Well, because like I said, he was sitting there and he was kind of looking around and he was moping around, and I asked him what was the problem. And they pretty much asked him what the issue was, and he was just kind of like, as I said, no one wanted him around, and it was like people were just kind of like, he didn't want to do anything. His hours had gotten cut because in the process, other ones got more, he got less, and he was just kind of like, I want more hours, and I want people to want me.
Right. Okay. Gotcha.
So I was like, I can help you. I'll help you.
Nice.
And it was just kind of like, really? Yep. So that's how we got
Awesome.
going.
So do you find that to be that way with these other people that you've mentored throughout your life? Like, they come to you first, or do you, now that you kind of have gotten used to seeking out and seeing potential in people, do you seek people out and kind of develop them without them asking first? The answer is yes, because that's kind of what you do. So that's kind of where I was going with it, is because like
I know that's why I was just decided to be you to be a smart ass.
But anyway, well, thanks. I invite you to my house, and but anyway, yeah. I asked the question because that's kind of what happened with me. Is because I started working at this job, and it's the first real job that I've had. If we're being real, like the only other thing that I've done besides this is like work as a summer intern at a steel mill. So obviously, I had a lot to learn going into the business world for the first time. And the way that I remember it is you kind of just started just slowly talking to me and asking questions and like giving me pieces of advice, like setting me aside and like telling me these few things. And it's like, oh, it's actually really helpful. And that just kind of, it piqued my interest. And I'm like, wow, these things that he's telling me are working, and they're really salient, and they make sense. So I've kind of continued to ask questions, and you've continued to help.
Don't
and you always
act like it was that easy. You just totally ignored me for the longest period of time. So don't even try it. It is true. You ignored everything I said, and I was just like,
you always say that. It just seems like that sometimes. So many things maybe I did kind of, it's
like this dude's freaking crazy. I'm not listening to anything this dude has to say. I'm like, forget that. I'm one ear right out the other. Whatever.
So if I wasn't listening, then why'd you keep talking to me? The thing, like,
I don't know. That's a good question.
I totally what you see, because you knew I was actually listening, at least to some level. He's talking to me, but yeah. So that's kind of how it.
But no, it is one of those things that pretty much, like I said, it's in the beginning. Like I said, I picked some people out, and some people actually asked me as I've done different things with other people, because people noticed that when I went through pretty much the ranks pretty quickly in retail when I was doing stuff and got where I wanted to get pretty quick. Because I mean, again, I'm one of those believe, like I said, information, knowledge, you can't be denied, and there's different people as you see different stuff in different environments and. But you have to. It's one of those things. You have to see a person who's willing to do stuff, and a person who actually wants to go somewhere and has like, I don't know what the word is.
Motivation, like passion.
Well, motivation, but also you can see that they actually really, truly have want to do things and are willing to do whatever it needs to do, whatever they need to do to get there.
Okay.
Or whatever they need to do to accomplish stuff and actually set themselves out from other people. Type deals.
Gotcha.
Very different. Very very. Different qualities.
Yeah.
You can, like I said, I'm one of those people. I learn people. You can tell me anything you want. You can sit there in my face and lie to me. You can tell me all kinds of stuff in the process, and I'll call you out because in the end, I learn people. I learn you and your body language, and you can attest to that.
It's really hard to keep things.
You can attest to that.
Yeah, that's definitely true as well.
Austin tried many times, just for you know. He tried to lie to my face, act like it didn't make a difference. And I'm like, okay,
now,
let me call you out and tell you I know you're not listening to me. You're lying, and I know it's not the truth in the process because this is what your body's telling me. And he just looks at me like I'm crazy, like, wow.
Yeah, I do listen a lot of the time, though. I'll give you that. Some of the times it was like, yeah, because you get used to with people kind of just like putting on airs and like. You're really tired, and like people are talking to you, and you kind of just tell them what you want to hear. But you learn really quick with Dave that doesn't work, and he's gonna see right through it. So it's like, not only did that teach me to maybe like not only not do that with you, but maybe take a look at myself, and when I do that with other people, and maybe stop doing it with them too, because more people probably notice than you think. Really.
Well, it's one of those things. I disagree with you. I only disagree with you because, like I said. people have a tendency to believe what people tell them. If you tell them something and you can actually look at them, and because you generally try to blow me off, and I'm just looking at you like, you can sit there and say what you want. Don't even act like you didn't. There was many different occasions.
There were
I'm
a
looking
few
like,
different times.
and I look and I was like, okay, now you want to tell me the real deal? And you're looking like, what are you talking about? And I'm just kind of like, because your body's telling me something totally different than what you just said.
Yeah, I know. But not every time. So
No, I didn't say every time.
Okay.
I didn't say every
All right,
time.
let's
I
put
just
a percentage so I don't just look like the worst guy.
I'm not. It's not to me. I'm not trying to make it. I'm just telling you again. It's like it's just like any person. When anyone's trying to do something with someone, until you actually can see things and actually genuinely tell someone's actually trying to help you, someone's actually for real, or if someone's actually legit, or I mean, you have every person needs to see things in people that's going to make them say, okay, this is a person I'm worth talking to, or there's something there, or it's worth my time, or it's not worth my time, or whatever in the process. Until people actually see those things or do those things, they're just going to do whatever they need to do to go by.
Yeah.
Blow you off.
Yeah. Well, I definitely appreciate that you picked me out of the crowd and you saw something in me that you've then developed. And I definitely attribute a lot of my quote-unquote success and development to your very blunt, very to-the-point advice, which I do appreciate. Because you're always like, all right, Austin, do you want the truth or do you want the politically correct answer that I have for you? I'm like, just give it to me straight, Dave, because PC doesn't help anybody.
Hey, it's the truth. I mean, because
I think I've taken it like a champ.
But a lot of people can't take the truth.
A lot of people cannot take the truth.
And even you looked at me several times with truth and kind of like, why did I ask for that?
And you know, the thing is, like, a lot of the times when I was like blowing you off and giving you crap, I probably thought, like, on the surface level that I was being legit, but in the back of my head I really wasn't. So you probably realized that I was like being shady when I didn't even realize that I was being shady.
I let you think you get away for it a little bit, and then after a while I called aside and said, okay, now I want to tell you, I know that you're really just blowing me off. And you just looked at me like I was crazy, like, holy shit.
Yeah.
I'm probably not using language you really want to use on this thing either.
Dude, we're not censored. On iTunes, it's marked as explicit just in case it happens, so we're good. Don't worry about it. I don't care.
Okay.
But yeah, so I guess for people that are in kind of the situation that your friend, that kid was in, that kind of didn't know what they wanted to do with their life, they were kind of like, they didn't have much guidance, they weren't sure which direction to go in. What advice would you give those people that are kind of in similar situations like that?
Same thing I said a little before. With information and knowledge, you can do anything you want to do. But you have to put your mind to do whatever it is you want to do. You have to set your mind and actually go and do it. You can't just say half-heartedly, I'm going to do something. Yeah. You have to be literally behind it, because in the meantime, you know that when you need to do something, you have to commit to it, and it takes effort and time. Mm-hmm. Not half-assed, not part of the way, not a piece of it. It takes the whole effort and time.
Yep. Yeah.
And the sooner you realize that and get behind it, the better off you'll be.
Yep. I completely agree. And that's a situation I find myself in now a lot, because I'm like at this crossroads where I could go a bunch of different directions. Like, I could dedicate to this path I'm on right now, or I could completely branch off, stop this, and like do something else. And it's like being in that middle point where it's like I could go this way or this way, and not being completely sure. It puts you in a position where you're not completely committed to either thing, and both things suffer because of it. So it's like when I'm trying to develop at work and like be better and like get things done quickly, there's reservation in the back of my head, and it's really getting rid of that reservation and saying, okay, this is what I'm doing now. I can't go half and half because my job will suffer.
But you have to remember something. Just because you do something one place doesn't mean that it's only good there. There's things you learn in places that go everywhere, inside regular everyday life, just in work life, and any other situations. It's not just one place.
Yep. Yeah. Agreed. And like saying agreed and like actually absorbing it, it's like that's another theme that I think has been consistent throughout our talks and everything. It's like hearing something and it making sense is different than it actually having that realization that, oh yeah, this is actually true, you know?
Yep.
So like I've listened to you say a lot of things and it's like, yeah, that totally makes sense, but I feel like it didn't really click until I was in a situation where it's like, oh shoot, he was totally right. You know what I mean?
Yes, because we came back to it later and was like, hey, you believe that now. What happened? Something changed.
Oh, shoot, I thought I believed it before, but I really didn't. I really didn't 100%. So, yeah, that kind of brings us to now. So, yeah, Dave, thank you for sharing your story. I appreciate that.
I'm sure you probably don't, because it involved you quite a bit because you got there. And like,
no, honestly, I kind of hoped that would happen. We got exactly to where I wanted to go. I had 2 questions written on here. Tell me about yourself and how did you get here? Which are basically the same question. I don't even know why I have this. I probably could have memorized that list of 2 things. But, yeah, thank you for that. I think that's good advice, and I hope that the 3.5 people that are listening take it and maybe spread it out.
I'm sure they've been looking at him like, this dude's crazy as hell, and why'd you hell bring him here? But, it's all
Probably.
good.
But yeah, we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to be right back. We're actually going to call Anthony, so hopefully he didn't fall off of his bike into a pit or, get attacked by raccoons on the streets of Seattle. So we'll see you folks in a minute. Hey folks, welcome back to episode 15 of the P Funk and Fro Show. I'm here with Dave Thomas, my friend from work. He hasn't left yet. Haven't scared him away, which is good.
I'm sure you people will be like, don't bring that dude back over again. Keep him away.
I think the exact opposite. I think we've given some salient advice and great points. So,
I like that dude's crazy as hell.
That's one of the themes of the show, though. Craziness. So, we're going to call Anthony, speaking of craziness, and kind of get an update about how his trip's going right now. So he's supposed to be ready, and he's supposed to be kind of waiting for us to dial in, so I hope you can hear. I'm going to put him up to the mic. This is going to force me to use the audio from the mics for the video, so I'm going to have to edit that a bunch. So I've been avoiding that lately, but this is kind of going to push me over the edge.
Hello.
Anthony,
How's it going?
you're on the P Funk and Fro Show. How does this feel for you?
Oh my god, I am so excited to be on here finally.
Do you hear Dave in the background?
Long-time listener, first-time caller.
Fantastic. Do you hear Dave there in the background chuckling over there?
Yeah, I heard him laughing.
Now, see, he's one I could actually get on harass about trying to get somebody to do something, too. But we won't go there. On that conversation we just finished, we won't go there. He'll have to listen to it and check it out himself. But I can go off on him because he's one of those ones that, ignore people a lot.
Dave is wrecking balling into my house here and calling us both out on our own podcast, which honestly is exactly what I wanted to happen. Exactly what I wanted to happen.
I'm sure you won't want me back here again. Y'all be stay the hell away.
All right, Anthony. So you've been on this trip for how long now? A week, maybe?
Yeah, probably about, 8 days.
8 days on
9
your.
days? 9 days?
Fantastic.
I think it's 9 days.
Yeah, you were talking to me earlier, and it sounded like you're not even keeping track of days. Because I was like, all right, we're gonna record on Thursday,
No.
which is freaking fantastic, and that's the sign of a great vacation is you have no idea what day it is. Because I was like, we're probably gonna do this on Thursday.
Plus, big cities, it doesn't matter what day of the week. There's always stuff going on. So it's just kind of hard to get a grasp of what's going on. I know I'm going into the weekend for Santa Cruz, but other than that, it's just been kind of a blur of new experiences and just fun times.
God, that's
What
insane.
kind of new experiences?
Yeah, did you hear Dave? What kind of new experiences?
Yeah, I mean, I went to my first comedy show and just new people, biking around new cities, talking to people on ferries, going to islands, things like that. Just new, everything new. But I did have a little setback about 10 minutes ago. So that gear assembly of the bike kind of chewed into itself. So I have it bent kind of back in place, but I'm now going to need to look for a bike shop.
Oh, shoot. So that bike...
Right after I posted on Reddit to give the bike away in Santa Cruz. Literally, I posted it and then went out riding, and I was going to go to this brunch place, but it ended up closed, so now I'm in a park overlooking San Francisco.
Wow.
And right when I entered the park, that's when the bike just kind of shit hit the fan.
So you got this free bike from Reddit, like you talked about last week, from this dude, this donor. He was being nice, so he gave you this bike to use on your trip. And everything worked out until you went to get rid of it, and now it's breaking. Is that an accurate summary?
I'm not getting rid of it in San Francisco. I'm getting rid of it in Santa Cruz. But I literally just posted a post about to give it, on who should I give it to, or who's wanting to continue this adventure. And right when I left, now it's kind of busted a little bit. I think I still have it working, but I am now limited to only half my gears.
Oh, I see.
So I get a pair of pliers. And I think it's because I fell yesterday. It was a pretty hard fall.
You fell yesterday? What happened?
Oh, yeah. Well, this bike has, those shoe, not clips, but they go over the front of your feet.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Pull up and push down
Yep.
simultaneously.
Yeah.
And if you don't have those on there, then it wouldn't really work, wouldn't really be comfortable, so they kind of have to stay on there. So if you're going slow on like a sidewalk on the street, and the same road tires like catch something, or you're turning and it just slips because they're like slick tires,
Yeah.
you just fall over. Like I can't even get my foot out in time, so I just kind of like just fall over on the side, and like everybody looks at me. And I'd like to say that was the first time it's happened, but that was like fourth or fifth.
Wow.
But like I'm literally biking hours and hours every day, but shit's gonna happen.
God, that sounds freaking fantastic. Yeah, so look out for photos on Facebook if you're friends with Fro on Facebook. If not, friend Fro on Facebook.
Yeah, right. Yeah, friend me on Facebook. Overall, like, I love biking cities. Oh my god. It's like a new passion, I think. Like, I only had a bike in Ohio State, and just right when I got the bike in Seattle, I was like, oh my god. It's really different than the bike trail. I love the bike trail because like, you get these homes. But, I mean, like, urban biking is just so much fun. So much fun. In San Francisco, I'm, like, riding on the street.
Wow, that's awesome. So he's talking about how he has a new passion for biking in cities. Because he used to, like, bike in, like, Columbus or whatever when he was in college. But this is completely different and kind of awesome because it's, you know, just a different dynamic and such. Yeah. Wow. So...
Yeah, biking really, like, having a bike compressed in the city is pretty nice.
Yeah. Would you say it's better than walking cities, or is it just different?
Oh, hell yeah. That's better than walking. You can see 5 times more things, 5 times quickly. So I only have a limited time in each one of these cities, so biking is literally the perfect thing that could have ever happened on this trip.
That's amazing.
The fact that it kind of like busted here 15 minutes ago, it's kind of a bummer, but I think I'll be able to get it back to work later.
Okay.
It kind of is, I just have half the gears right now.
Yeah, it sounds like it's still functional, but it's just like kind of not operating at 100%.
Yeah, it's kind of, I kind of need all the gears there because this city is quite hilly.
Oh, yes, it is.
Half the gears is kind of an issue. But
so how many days are left in this voyage, Anthony?
There's this day, and then I have 2 more days at Santa Cruz, and then I fly back 3 days from now, 4 days from now, something like that. I'll be back Sunday evening.
Okay. So just before we sign off with you, what's one of the craziest things that's happened while you were on this West Coast trip? Just to give people a tease for when you come back and we have the full West Coast episode.
I mean, the bike thing's probably the craziest. I'm trying to think there. I mean, I talked to people, I'm like, I took an Uber last night. Nothing too bad. I mean, I'm just glad I haven't been hit by a bus or a car
come
yet.
on. You got to have some alcohol stories going on in there.
I know there's something. I just can't think of it. I don't know. It's just everybody's been like overwhelmingly positive and helpful, and when they hear that I'm like solo traveling, like everybody just gets like interested and like wants to help. Like everybody, once they hear you're like on your own in a city you've never been to, they like instantly want to help. Like every bartender, I'll have my laptop up, and they'll just give me ideas to use. I don't even use my itinerary that I set out weeks before doing this trip. I don't even use it. So I just go to bars and talk with like the locals and like people on ferries or on the streets.
Wow.
And they just give me ideas and like their favorite spots, and I just start them in Google Maps and then just freaking get them.
That's great. I love that fluid kind of plan structure.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, it's real just loose and just things happen.
All right, I'm going to hand you off to Dave real quick, and Dave's going to ask you a bunch of questions, because I know Dave's got a lot of questions for you on his mind. So just hold him up to the microphone.
So what is the biggest... Come on, we got to have some alcohol stories.
Well, yeah, last night I was talking with this dude from France and a dude from Japan, or a chick from Japan, in the back of an Uber. We actually used my first Uber yesterday in the whole trip.
Oh, wow.
I don't know, just telling them my story. They're just talking with people. There is a crazy thing that happened. It's kind of sad, though. I think the craziest thing so far is, like, I was filming me riding across the Golden Gate Bridge, and there was a girl over the edge, and there was a police officer trying to talk her off of it.
Really?
And it's kind of sad. Yeah. And, I had the video running still, and it was just weird and not good. And
did she jump?
It was an odd feeling. But,
did she jump?
No, so I just moved. No, I mean, I have no idea, because I didn't want to I didn't stick around, and they don't want you to stick around.
So when was that? We'll have to look it up. No, I mean, because it's kind of like when you see something like that, it's you hear about it, but to see it in person is kind of weird.
Yeah, it's different.
It's strange.
Yeah, that's what you
had. I googled. So there was a Navy, there was a Coast Guard rather ship on the bottom. When I got back on land, I kind of like watched from very far, and the Navy or the Coast Guard ship kind of just sat there, went out first on the bridge, and then like jetted off really quick. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I have no idea.
Okay.
I googled it briefly on like Twitter and things like that to see. I don't know why I wanted to know, but I just was hoping that she didn't.
Yeah, that's what I was asking. I was curious. Like I said, when you see something like that in person, it's weird. I mean, you see stories or hear stories, but to actually be there and see somebody doing something.
Yeah, I felt really bad. It was really not good.
God, I imagine.
It was a weird feeling. Like leaving the bridge, I was kind of like dazed. I was kind of, I don't know. It took me a couple hours to not be in a funk, honestly.
Gotcha.
So I just kept biking and with no direction.
Did you go to Alcatraz?
No, I did not. So I found out that I don't really like doing a bunch of touristy things in these cities, like at all.
Touristy things.
So I'm, like right now, I'm in a Hispanic neighborhood in the park, and it's just, I'm like in the outskirts of the city. I go in the city, and then I'll like go out, and like a bartender or like someone on the street, like point me in the direction of like a better place or this or that, and then that better place may take me into a neighborhood that there's absolutely no way I would have ever gone to before, like the park right now.
Yeah.
And I found that I actually love that way better. So every time I went to that Fisherman's Wharf on the way to the Colonier Bridge on my bike, and I like in Seattle, at their like little down on the Harbor District, I get there and there's tons of people everywhere, and it's not like it is for biking, it's just like, there's nothing really that's excited about that interests me, it's just kind of gross, and so I'm just like, nah. I'm not trying to be like guffy, that's just how it's come together. I was planning on doing some touristy things, but right now, like in San Francisco, by the time I got here, I really have no concern to do like touristy things.
Okay, I see. All right. Well, Anthony, good luck in your travels. I think we're going to sign off from this call for now.
All right.
But I look forward to hearing just like a deep, detailed talk about your West Coast trip when you get back on the next podcast.
And some awesome pictures.
Yeah, and some awesome pictures.
I don't even know the picture count, but it's easily over 1,000. It might be over 2,000.
God. I would expect nothing less. I would expect nothing less. Well, Anthony, thanks for calling in. I'm sure this is...
Have a good rest of the podcast.
All right, thanks, Anthony. Thanks for calling in. I'll talk to you later, man.
All right, later, guys.
All right, goodbye.
You're a mess.
Well, that was interesting. So Anthony talked about a lot of things that, like, I totally understand where he's coming from, like, where he's saying he doesn't want to do a lot of touristy things when he's going on vacation. He would rather just go to some random district that nobody goes to and just like get a feel for how the people there live, because that's exactly what I try to do in a city too. It's like going to New York, I've done like the Empire State Building, like Statue of Liberty stuff, but like it's way more interesting to me to just like go in the middle of Brooklyn and just walk straight through and just see how different people live.
But you can mix it up. No, you don't have.
Yeah.
Not do all of one or the other, but it's kind of like mix it up because check out a thing or two that's a regular touristy thing and see if there's anything there interesting or awesome, and then do some stuff that most people wouldn't do.
Yeah, I completely agree with that too.
Check it out. Check out the area.
Yeah,
not just what they want you to see.
Right. Exactly, because it feels so like synthetic a lot of the time.
Yes.
That's why I can't stand those souvenir shops you see in like New York. Where it's like, I love New York shirts and like little plastic like Empire State Buildings. I hate going in those stores because they feel so fake.
Yep. Like Las Vegas. Las Vegas, on the Strip, you see what they want you to see, but get off of the Strip and go check out the rest of the place.
Really?
You could be very interesting.
What's it like? Is it just like a normal city, or?
Yeah, it is.
Like
but there's all kinds of stuff goes on. Like I said, it's Las Vegas. People tell you what goes on there stays there. But I mean, it's interesting. You can get in some interesting stuff there.
Really?
Yes.
Well, I'd ask you for Vegas stories, but there's that that rule that you can't really. What happens in Vegas? So we'll respect that rule for this podcast. But what are some other cities that you've been to? Like, what would you put at the top of the pedestal? The favorite places that you visited?
Wow.
Because I know it's been a lot. You've been a lot of places. I know you want to go to Australia. within the next couple of years? That's kind of your
2018 is the list. Like I said,
2018 is the
it
target?
should be 18 unless something in the process comes up to where it depends on the time, the weather-wise, because, I mean, actually could slide like the beginning of 19. It's a matter of trying to convert the weather to be, I want to go either like the April, May time frame where it's decent weather, or September, October, or those kind of weathers. I don't want the summer. I don't want the winter. I want the fall and the spring that we don't get type things.
Gotcha.
That's what I want.
Okay. Yeah, and I can see that being kind of, you need a lot of time to plan that out ahead.
Yes.
Before you go, because that's a really specific window.
True. But like
Yeah.
I said, it's a matter of just trying to see there, but also making sure that I can check out different things. And I'm a big horse race fan, so I'm making sure I can actually check it out while I'm there too as well. So
Is a horse race scene big in Australia?
yes.
Really?
Yes.
So like, where do you go for that? Is it like a Sydney?
Well, see, I
Melbourne
got
kind of thing?
to get the ins and outs
Okay.
of that because
Okay.
yeah, because that's
Okay.
still in my research between now and then and getting there.
Okay, I see. That's cool. So of the places that you've been to,
Cancun was my favorite.
Cancun,
Cancun was my favorite.
Where-
Mexico.
Mexico.
Yes.
That's what I was going to ask. Why was it your
Yes.
favorite? What did you like about it?
It's pretty. Why? I mean, you have a really good time, and like I said, you can actually barter for a lot of stuff. You don't necessarily
that's
say
fun.
just a regular flat out price. You can actually, talk them in because people want to get your money there and talk them into decent prices of stuff and less than what they normally would get. And in the end, you go walk off to someone else and they're like, well, okay, come back,
Yeah.
get it from me. So you can actually you can have a really good time too and like I said, the conversion for the money is you make out really well.
Is like the American dollar stronger there?
Yes,
Than
it
the
was. Like I said,
currency?
it's been many years. I can't even tell you how long it's been now. It's been like maybe 15 years. But in the meantime, when I went, I mean, I'd definitely go back there. It was pretty cool.
Okay. Yeah, I'd love to go to Mexico or sometime soon. I'd like to
pretty
get the first time I went out of the country was just this year for my Canada trip. So
Yeah.
I'd like to get out and go to like Australia is one of my top goals too. Australia and Japan are kind of my top two places that I
Japan.
love
What's
to
up with
yeah.
Japan? Where'd
I
Japan
just-
come from?
I've really all the Japanese art and culture
Okay.
that I've ever seen, and like of course video game stuff. Big into that kind of-
There's the real story.
If you look around, you can probably see why. Yeah, Japan's kind of the epicenter for all that kind of stuff, and just
Okay.
big old red arch things. I think those are sweet.
Nice. There
So,
you
yeah,
go.
Japan just seems really cool to me. I would love to go there.
So you got a list of places to hit.
In Japan, or just like
Places.
different
Period. You
countries.
said Australia. You said Japan. So like it's a matter of
I mean, not like a hard list, but kind of just like a rough idea. Like I'd like to go to Ireland. I'd like to go to the different big cities in the U.S. Seattle, I think, might be my next big West Coast thing.
there you go.
Because, like, I don't know, Seattle just seems really cool, and it's really far away. And I think next year I might actually go to this video game convention that's in Seattle. So that
Okay.
might be my quote-unquote excuse to go there.
Is that the same one like you went to San Francisco?
No, it's a different one. Oh, so this is
It's the
actually...
same type thing.
So it's actually the same one that I went to, like, in Boston.
Oh, okay.
So the one I went to in Boston was PAX East, and this would just be PAX West.
Gotcha.
It used to be PAX Prime, but now it's PAX West.
So what was the San Francisco one?
The San Francisco one was just a PlayStation one.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, PAX is kind of all around everything.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So I think that might be my excuse to get out to Seattle, just because everything I hear, it's a really neat city, minus the whole people need lights on their desk at work to keep them from getting depressed because it's always dark and rainy outside. So I'd like to hit Seattle. And I haven't really explored the real, true, like, Midwest, like Kansas, like Arkansas. I guess that's the South. The South and the Midwest. I've only really been to Florida. and,
So
like,
you went to
Tennessee.
California and San Francisco, but what about the rest? There's more besides San Francisco.
Yeah, I guess there's L.A. and there's, like, I don't
San
know.
Diego's awesome.
San Diego's
Yeah,
awesome.
San Diego's
you
pretty
just
cool.
went to San Diego, didn't you?
Yeah,
like
it's pretty
recently?
cool. Yes.
So what's San Diego got going on for it?
The weather's awesome.
Is it it's awesome in San Francisco too, though?
I think San
Is it,
Diego's
like,
better.
roughly the same?
San
Really?
Francisco's better. I'm sorry, San Diego's better.
Okay,
San
It's-
Diego's better.
I get all these.
If
San
you actually
Diegos
talk,
and
if
the
you actually
San
talk to
Francisco-
people in their process, I mean, I mean, of course, you have people that are diehards for either one, San Diego, or San Francisco, but the weather in San Diego is awesome.
Okay, is it like warmer or cooler than San Francisco? Would you say?
I don't know this
Okay.
for San Francisco wise, but I just know that the San Diego can have you really decent weather in like the 70s and 80s but for a consistent amount of time.
Gotcha. Okay, because like my experience with San Francisco, I'm sure like yours as well. It's like it's fall all the time. So it's always jeans and sweatshirt weather in San Francisco, it seems like, which is kind of like what I like and what I gravitate
Okay.
towards, because I'd rather have jeans and a sweatshirt on most of the time. It's just kind of like what I'm comfortable with. So sounds like the perfect.
You got to try San Diego.
I will try. Yeah,
'Cause you can do
I
San
would
Diego
love
and LA
to.
together because it's a matter from LA to San Diego is like maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours
Okay,
without
so you
traffic.
can
With
hit
traffic,
both.
maybe 3 hours. So it's kind of like you can kind of like hit some parts in both. Make a trip, take a week, and
Okay.
hit a couple of places in between the two of them.
All right, I'll try to remember that because I would love to go and like see more of California and stuff. So, what kind of like middle United States places have you been to? Have you been to many of them that are
I've
like
been-
notable or
you-
just kind of driven
You
through?
mean like You've been to St. Louis,
like Montana, blah blah
oh
blah.
no,
blah,
I haven't
blah.
been out that. No, I actually haven't been. I've been
Arizona.
out. I've been in Idaho. I've been in Oregon. I've been in California, but I've not been haven't been to that part like Montana stuff around there.
Okay, because like up until last year, the furthest west that I've been was Illinois, and then I just kind of went to San Francisco and skipped all the states in between. So it's like, here's where I've been, plus like here, like a heat, if it was like on a heat map or anything. So I'd like to kind of fill in the gaps in the middle a little bit, because I think that'd be interesting, because it's so different than like here.
Yes. My goal is to hit all 50 states before I'm no longer on this earth.
Before you go and live on Mars, is that what you're trying to say? Before you go into space.
Before I'm 6 foot under.
Okay. Exactly. I think that's a pretty good goal. I would like to do it. I mean, I just kind of think I want to hit the bigger cities.
My problem is that I find places I like and I repeat. And my goal, I was supposed to go and keep moving to something new, and I go back and repeat. So I was just kind of like, no, you can repeat once in a while, but you need to move to new. You got to keep moving.
That's my problem at restaurants too, as I'm sure you can attest to. Every time you ask me,
that's why I was laughing, because I knew.
Every time you ask me what I get at any restaurant, you just happen to pick every restaurant that I get chicken tenders at. It's like, you're like, oh, what do you like? Dairy Queen. Oh, what do you get there? Chicken strip basket with gravy. Everybody that goes to DQ knows it. That's what you get. They got good burgers too, but that's not their flagship thing. Got the chicken tenders. Longhorn Steakhouse, surprise hit, chicken tenders. They're amazing because their honey mustard is like top tier too. So it's like the combination goes like perfectly together. I got it
tenders
last week. It was my brother's birthday last week and I got it.
What happened to steak?
I like steak too. I tried my dad's steak at Longhorn. That was the funny thing too. You actually made me realize that my favorite food might be steak last week.
I made you realize?
Yeah. Because, like, this brings us back to that insightful crap you get, because you're, like, I think you're more inside of my head than I am, but, like, you were talking, you're like, so, what's your favorite food? And I'm like, I have no idea. And you're like, come on, what about steak? Because when I talk to you about steak,
the eyes get all big, excitement, all fired up.
I get really passionate. But anyway, yeah. Steak, probably my favorite food. Chicken tenders.
I don't know.
Strong competitor. I'm not sure. But yes, Dave, thank you for being on episode 15 of the P Funk and Fro Show.
Don't be so harsh, people. Don't be so harsh.
In the comments, make sure you tell us how much you loved Dave's stories.
How much you hated to keep his ass away.
How much you adored the endless crap that I received while he was here. It's no different in normal real life. It's pretty much the same.
It's probably a little censored. You got the censored version. It's worse in real life.
Yeah, he's probably right, actually. But this was the P Funk and Fro Show, episode 15. Make sure you hit up the Facebook group. That's facebook.com/groups/P Funk and Fro. Follow us on Twitter. It's at P Funk and Fro on Twitter. And just leave some comments. Give us some advice for topics. I want to start having more guests on here to kind of spice things up, keep things fresh. Thank you for listening, folks, and we're going to be back next week. See you later. Good half.
Your best. You'll edit all that shit out. You'll be like, don't even putting all this stuff on here. The hell with that. He's like, the hell with this shit.